So the thing I really want to focus on is this idea about checking in, because I just had my performance review today for my job that I've been working since September of last year, and honestly it went very well. However, there's something that I think needs to be taken away from just performance reviews in general. So keeping everything simple, let's dive into that. Welcome back to the Keeping Everything Simple podcast. I'm your host and fellow student, Michael Klukas, and on this show, we boil down complicated topics into simple, actionable tips. So, if you're watching on YouTube, clearly I have my camera back on again, but it's because I'm wanted to kind of distill what I thought about while I was getting my performance review done today. And something that I really like about whenever we have a chance to actively, kind of reflect on what we've done, the progress we've made, or even the progress that we haven't made. The thing I really like is being able to actively see what goals we have set for ourselves and then what progress we've made towards them. Because again, back on my wall in my room, I have my goals plastered up so that way I can see them every single day no matter what, and I can see if I'm working in the right direction towards them. Now, one of the things that stuck out to me during this performance interview, besides the fact that, I was doing pretty well, I'll give myself a little pat on the back for that. But no, it was just the thing that stuck out to me was the question of where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And I'm fortunate enough to have a boss that really does encourage these types of questions, that they know if your goal isn't to stay with the company for the rest of your career, they're in support of that. The thing they want to do is prepare you and find you ways of getting into the roles that mean something to you. Like, more precisely, the roles that you see yourself going into because you know that that's the direction that you want to go in the future. And so for myself, because I work a bit more in the kind of accounting departments, I'm able to say, okay, I want to look into what this might hold for me in the future. I want to look into what this might potentially mean if I decide to pursue certifications or another college degree, whatever it is, or even actually just getting real world experience. Performance reviews are a great time to actively sit back and take in what you've done and where you want to go. And the nice part as well is that you don't have to, wait for your boss to sit you down for the quarterly or yearly performance review. This is something that you can do on your own too. And yeah, that sometimes sounds a little weird, but it's just the same as someone taking a year reflection at, the end of the year. It's you taking a quarterly reflection, you taking a monthly reflection if you so wish, and asking, have I been on track for my goals? Have I been making progress in a way that makes sense to me? And as I thought about it, I realized that I have to make sure that I am taking the initiative to actively make the most of the opportunities being presented to me. And what I mean by that is not every single position in your career in the moment is going to make the most sense. It's not going to feel like it is building up towards this kind of big, grandiose plan, and that's okay. Instead, what's happening is that as you progress further and further along into your career, and especially for those of us in Gen Z, so some kind of a message to my Gen Z cohort, we're still in the start of our career. Yeah, sure, some of us are getting into management positions already, but even so, for the most part, we're in the beginnings of our career. And the nice part is being able to actively have some long-term projections and long-term goals allows us to think, okay, if I want to make progress towards this, then I need to make sure that I'm guiding myself in the right way. Even if this job doesn't feel like it. When I worked in retail, that did not at the time feel like, okay, this is going to be completely helping me run my own business one day, help me manage a team of, a small team that's really close and cohesive and working towards a singular goal. But I have better people skills. I have better leadership skills. I have better HR knowledge now because of that experience. And that's something that I can say looking back on it. And then now having an appreciation for routines and efficiency. I got that from when I was working in manufacturing. And I can see that how that's playing into the role I want to have in the future. Fun part was as well that also came out in my performance review today. I'm thinking through, what did I do well? Why do I want to focus so much on routine efficiencies? Why do I want to focus so much on minimizing errors and learning about HR and learning about actually learning more about leadership, because leadership is something I've been interested in forever. And it's because it's helping me work towards a goal that I have in mind, a specific target that I'm aiming for. And that is something that I think is exciting, but also can really catapult you forward as long as you're having a good, genuine conversation around it. Now, of course, not every boss is going to be a good boss about this, and not every single performance review is going to be you taking these next steps, but they should definitely be a moment that allow you to think, okay, I need some extra motivation, or I need some extra guidance just so I know that I am heading where I want to go, or I'm at least on track to meet one of these goals that in the long term is going to help improve my life and my career. And again, I don't think this has to be something that you have to wait until the end of the year for. Of course, if you're working with a larger company, then yeah, you're going to have your, again, quarterly, maybe halfway through the year, and then end of the year review. That makes sense. But for yourself, this is what I mentioned earlier about taking this idea of initiative. You want to be able to take the initiative to make sure that you are being proactive about taking the right steps, taking action, even if it's small, towards a particular goal. Now, for myself, I have a bad habit, knowing full well this is a bad habit. If I don't have anything to do, I will kind of just let myself just kind of stall out. I won't actively go look for new work to do, and that's if I'm comfortable and knowing that more work is going to come my way naturally on its own. But if I want to be a small business owner one day, if I want to forge my own path with a bit more control, I should be spending that time actively thinking out, what can I do? What value can I provide? And how am I going to increase my foothold here? So that way, when an opportunity arises, I'll be ready, because opportunities present themselves to those who prepare. And if I'm able to get more experience underneath my belt, then that means I'll be more prepared when a chance to either promote, when a chance to get a new certification, when a chance to maybe switch to another team presents itself, I'll be able to take advantage of that. And this then does also prompt the question, and the one that I grapple with consistently enough: am I still on the path I want to be on? And I honestly sometimes don't know, but other times I think to myself, okay, I at least know the direction. I know the larger kind of picture, the day-to-day life that I want to lead in the future, and how am I going to get there? And this is what I encourage those of us in Gen Z to do. Let's take it slow. Let's not focus so much on, I have to rush through this as fast as possible, even though it's something that I love to do, and it's sometimes a bad habit of trying to get from point A to point B to point C as quickly as possible. But I'm also missing out on some experiences along the way if I'm just rushing forward headlong. Taking it slow and correcting earlier is going to be so much better for us, because yeah, we're not going to all find our dream jobs where we feel like we never have to work another day in our life, because, by the way, that's not how this works. Even on the best jobs, the best alignments, there's going to be days where it's going to feel like work, and that's also perfectly okay. But I do think it is important that we don't let ourselves get caught up in this idea of comparison, this idea of, hey, I need to be doing this as quickly as possible because my teammate from high school is a senior manager at some accounting firm, or my roommate from college is now a C-suite executive, whatever the situation might be. If you're running the race at your own pace, then you're going to have a much more enjoyable time actively playing this game of life and going through the game that is our careers. So I encourage you guys to use performance reviews, either the ones that you're hosting yourself, the ones that your company is giving you, and you really take what you're putting down as goals to heart and use them as indicators, use them as guiding posts, as your compass to self-correct. Because yeah, I know that when I left retail, I jumped ship because to me, it felt like it was a burning and sinking ship. and I left it on pretty bad terms. And that's something that I have to recognize. But ultimately, if I can look back and think, if I had gotten more time to kind of just focus in and think, okay, where do I want to go next? I would have had maybe a shorter sabbatical, or perhaps I would have taken the same longer sabbatical, but actively had a more focused approach in how I relaunched this YouTube channel, how I tried to start up a couple other side hustles again. And it's now realizing that if I'm able to keep moving at least a couple steps forward every single time in the direction that actually matters to me, then I know in time I'll be exactly where I want to be. It just might take longer than I think. But again, that's my encouragement to those of us in Gen Z. Don't focus so much on comparison or focus so much on, wow, I didn't hit this goal or I really missed this one by a mile. Progress is progress, and that's important to remember. But so is making progress in the right direction. You don't want to end up in a career path and let your life happen to you, and then suddenly 14, 15, 16 years down the line, you think to yourself, wow, I don't know how I got here, and I kind of hate it. I don't want that to be the future that is held for us. Instead, I want us to look back in 10, 20, 30 years and think, okay, it was slow going. There was a couple U-turns along the way, a couple of kind of out of left field shots, but I'm here. I made it to this position right now, and even if I haven't quote unquote made it, I'm content and I'm happy, and I can keep growing in other areas of my life, because our career does not encompass our entire life. It is a part of it. So that's why I encourage you guys to take it slow. Use your performance reviews. Either use them on yourself, use them the ones that your company gives you, but use them as guiding posts, so that way when you're looking back in the future, you'll know that you did the right thing in correcting when you did. But that's the thought I leave you with. Keeping everything simple. Have an amazing day, you amazing people, and I will see you all in the next episode. Go out there and do great things.